And good evening. Welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner here from the Highline Activity Network on the Highline Activity Network from the Highline Activity Center on this absolutely gorgeous Wednesday night. We're going to kick things off with Highlander Tennis. Pardon me, Coach Matt Nielsen joining us. How you doing, Coach?
Doing well.
Off to a 3-0 start for the Highlanders. West Fargo, North, and most recently Fargo-Shanley.
Yes.
Was it Shanley or South?
Shanley.
It was Shanley. Good start to the season here for the Highlanders.
Yep, good start to the season. We have a 9-0 victory, an 8-1 victory, and then yesterday against a team that had multiple state qualifiers last year, we got a 6-3 win where we swept the doubles and got 3 out of the 6 singles. And we've always been a doubles team, so it doesn't surprise me that that was our strong suit yesterday. But we did have a good practice today. I think the reason we lost a couple of those matches was our consistency, and tennis is a game of errors.
Yeah.
It's you got to keep the ball in to give yourself a shot to win. So we worked a lot of consistency drills today. Worked a lot about shaping shots today in practice because we got Fargo South tomorrow. So we got Fargo South tomorrow, and then after that, it's going to be fast and furious because the following couple weeks it's going to be Tuesday match, Thursday match, Friday double match, Saturday tournament.
Okay.
Monday match, Tuesday match, Thursday match, Saturday tournament, and the regular season's done. So
Wow.
it's going to get really nuts after this week.
And you talk about your wins last night. You got your wins in singles from 4, 5, and 6, and that just shows the depth of your team.
Well, and we've talked about that before. That I think we're one of the deepest teams in the state. That our 4, 5, and 6 are. I mean, they're pretty dang good, and they're just as good as a lot of 2, 3s, and 4s. In fact, pretty interchangeable with our 2, 3s, and 4s. Like we have 6, 7 kids, 8 kids that can play the game of tennis, and we should get a lot of wins at 4, 5, and 6, and we're working on getting those wins at 1, 2, and 3 also.
I know in North, the North was an 8-1 victory, and you had mentioned they had, I think, 3 seniors coming back that were going to be good. Are you surprised at an 8-1 final or not?
I was a little surprised, but I think our kids did show up really well, and in the doubles I think that set the tone. I think by snagging, and it's in the EDC we play doubles first.
Yep.
So if we can snag all 3 doubles, I think that's a little mental hurdle for the other team too, and it gives us that boost. Plus, it's a mental hurdle for them that they're already in an 0-3 hole and they have to win 5 out of the 6 singles to win the match. So I think it's a little beneficial for the Highlanders for us that we play the doubles first.
May 2nd was your first home match. Is that the latest home match you've had?
You know what? I would have to say so. I'd have to go back to the flood of 09. We got every one of our EDC matches in that 09 season. Even though we had 2 weeks of sandbagging and we had 2 weeks out of school, we still somehow got all the matches in. So that year we might have been into May before our first match. I don't remember. I just remember it was just bam, 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 bam. We had double headers, but we finished the season off and did well that season too.
You mentioned South is up next year on Thursday, and I think one of your matches next week is Grand Forks Central, a team that is kind of right there with you. How do you see this EDC as it matches up going into this year?
Well, I think we're definitely in the top half of the EDC. Like the biggest challenges are going to be Davies and Cheyenne are probably the favorites at 1 and 2. And I would probably, if you looked at other coaches, they'd probably say Valley would be they'd pick us as probably number 3. But we know that Central last year we went 1 and 1 against. Red River last year we went 1 and 1 against. So I mean those are teams too. So I think our 3-4-5 with those 3 teams. I mean we can end up the 3, and who knows, maybe we knock off someone and end up higher than 3. But the big ones will be, can we knock off Central in the regular season, and can we get Red River and snag ourselves at least the 3 seed going in the tournament?
That's where the mental aspect comes in too, doesn't it? When you face these teams that you almost know you can beat, but you need to just do one little thing, I don't know, just the inter-match changes that go on and that they have to think about as a match is going on.
Yep, and I think we did that very well at North. Kaylee and Breck both lost their first sets in singles, and both of them made some in-match adjustments. They were listening to coaching. They were figuring it out on their own too, but they executed a slightly different game plan in set 2. Came back and win those. I think Kaylee won that in like 6-1. I think Breck was like 6-3, and they both pretty much ripped through the super tiebreak to win like 8-2 and 8-4 or something like that. So you're right that in the match, it's not predetermined. When you start that match, if you have 2 that are fairly similar, it's going to be which one can figure out how to win points. And when you win points, it's not just about you winning points. It's about forcing your opponent to lose points as well. So can you force your opponent to do something that they don't want to do, or can you capitalize on what you're good at? So Breck and Kaylee did a good job of that to come back and win 3 setters.
I just thought a question when you talk about what you're good at. You're not gonna reinvent the wheel. So let's just say you're a baseline player. That's your strength. It doesn't seem to be working. Are you going to try to approach the net and try to change your approach?
A lot of times, if you're that baseline player, then you got to start mixing up your depths and your spins too. So a lot of times, like my daughter Kaylee, she's a counter puncher. So a lot of times she likes being back, but she's really good at passing and lobbing. So when she gets a short ball, a lot of people like to come up and drive it and take the net over. Kaylee doesn't do that. What Kaylee likes to do is she'll give the other person a drop shot, force them to come up, and now Kaylee has a passing shot or a lob, and now she has you. So, I mean, you do have to play to your strengths, but a lot of times you got to also, how do I beat them? And you play to their weaknesses. If they're not good at the net, force them to come to the net.
Right. Matchup with Fargo South, one of those matches, winnable match.
Yep. So tomorrow, Fargo South, I think they got beat 9-0 by Shanley, and we beat Shanley 6-3 yesterday. So but I tell the girls, I go, we're Valley City. We're an underdog every time. You go out there and play. Every day we can win. Every day we can lose. So even when we play Cheyenne and Davies or Minot out west, on a given day we can take them down. But at the same token, on a given day, someone else can knock us off too. So you can't come in thinking we're going to win or lose. You got to come in going, I'm going to respect my opponent, and we're going to play the game of tennis the way we know how. We'll make in-game adjustments, and we'll see what happens in those matches.
Game matches are not handed to you.
That is 100% true. That's a truer statement, and that's every sport. It's not just tennis. It's they don't hand it to you. You can't play not to lose. You got to figure out how to go out and win.
May is Tennis Month, isn't it?
It is.
National Tennis Month.
National Tennis Month, and tonight at 6:30 at the Rec Center. I'll be there at 6:30 to help set up. Starts at 7 o'clock at the Rec Center. Anybody who has a tennis racket, even if you don't have a tennis racket, we'll have tennis rackets for you.
Yeah.
But in the community, it's free. Come play tennis. We'll have door prizes. We're going to have a lot of games. A lot of the VCSU tennis players, along with the boys' high school team, are going to help out too. So it should be a lot of fun tonight.
That's the way to kick off National Tennis Month.
Yes.
All right. Well, again, Matt, congratulations. Off to a good start. Good luck here with Fargo South, and look forward to continued success of the Highlander tennis team.
Perfect. Thanks, Paul.
You bet, Coach. Coach Matt Nielsen joining us from Valley City Tennis. We'll be back with more of our Coach's Corner here from the Hack on the Highlander Activity Network. So are you ready to roll? We're good? All right, we're good. We're going. We are on. Good. And welcome back to Coach's Corner here on the Highlander Activity Network. And again, if you are watching us and you want to let other people know how they can find us, we're live on YouTube. All you do is just go to YouTube and you search Highlander Activities, and that'll take you to our Highlander Activity Network page. And you can watch past events and, of course, watch us live as we're doing. Well, now we're going to talk about wrestling. Express Wrestling more specifically, as they wrapped up their season here this past weekend. It was the Freestyle Greco State Tournament over in Jamestown, and we have both. You were state champs in both freestyle and Greco for here. The Ford girls, Haley and Olivia. Haley,
Yeah.
What grade are you in?
6.
Sixth grade. So is this your final year of Express Wrestling? Mm-hmm. Simon Trapp is here too, and he's a sixth grader. We'll talk about this with him too. So I'll ask you. Kind of sad to see Express Wrestling be done. Mm-hmm. Looking forward though to moving on to the high school level.
Yeah.
What is your fondest memory to think about Express Wrestling and how long have you been doing it? How long have you been doing it?
We started I started in 5th grade. She started in 1st.
Okay. So you're going a couple years.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is your fondest memory?
Probably at state, not for freestyle and Greco, but normal state when after the boys wrestling, I started crying because was gonna miss everyone.
Okay. And that was at the folk style state tournament. Now at the Greco and freestyle, you were first year state champ in both. What was your favorite of the two? Do you have-
Probably freestyle. Greco is confusing.
Is it confusing?
Yeah.
Because that's mostly throws, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that hard for you or not? Obviously not. You were state champ, but
Yeah. It's not that hard, but like it's hard to get into those positions
okay.
because that's what everyone else is looking for at the same time.
Right. I know freestyle, the scoring is a little bit different than it is in folk style. So now as you kind of get ready to move on next year to Highliner Wrestling, did you talk to some of the, current wrestlers like your Deegan Kirschman and get a chance to hang out with some of those guys?
Yeah, me and Olivia rode with Deegan, Victoria, and Quincy a couple of times to tournaments.
Okay. So you kind of look up to those guys? Mm-hmm. And it's like, hey, I want to keep doing what they're doing too.
Mostly Deegan. She's my favorite.
She's your favorite? Mm-hmm. She's got a favorite. She's got Deegan. Well, now Olivia, you won both state championships too, didn't you?
Yes.
So now, what grade are you in?
2nd.
So this is your second year of wrestling.
Yes.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
What do you like most about wrestling?
Probably the tournament.
The tournaments. Did you get in it because sister was in it, or did you want to do it all the time?
I want to do it.
We joined at the same time.
You did. Well, of course, yeah. The same. You've both been doing it for 2 years. And what's your favorite move? Do you have a favorite wrestling move?
Probably for freestyle, double legs and single legs.
Okay.
For Greco, probably a barrel roll.
I didn't ask you, Haley. What do you have a go-to move?
I like headlocks.
Headlocks. Okay.
They're hard to get to though.
But if you get to them,
They're fun.
they're fun. And headlocks, that's probably good for throwing, isn't it? Mm-hmm. If you can get into that. Okay. Well, now, Olivia, so you're in your second year, so you still have a few more years left to do this. Do you really enjoy wrestling? Are you hoping to stick with it until you graduate from high school?
Yes.
Really? And you want to win more state championships?
Yes.
Did you get a trophy? Did you get a belt? Did you get medals? What did you get for your state championship?
Trophies.
You got trophies? So both of you are state champs in freestyle and Greco. How'd you do at the folk style? How'd you do with that?
I got 2nd.
Get second there. How about you, Haley?
I got 3rd.
You got third. So you can improve on that next year. But you're done with that. But now do you have any goals? Haley, I'll start with you. Do you have any goals as far as when you get into wrestling? I know you got a little ways to go, but when you get into that high school and wear that Highliner singlet, do you kind of have some goals that you'd like to do?
I want to get better where I can go into a good college like Coy.
Okay. And yeah, he's going to pretty good college, going to Iowa. Another great Highliner wrestler that you can look up to. How about you? Do you have anything?
Mainly just to get better.
You got good coaches to help you with that, don't you?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your favorite coach? I'm really gonna put you on the spot there. We won't tell them; they're not watching. You like them all, don't you?
Yes.
I kind of figured that because there's some good guys in that wrestling room.
Yes.
So you got. And how about some of the older girls? Did you get a chance to kind of talk with them and
Yeah.
hang with them? How was that?
Good.
Now, I was going to ask both of you this. I forgot about we had that girls' night here where it was just girls
Yes.
wrestling. Was that fun for you?
Yes.
How'd you do? Did you win?
I got 2nd.
You got second. Well, that's okay. You still got the pink blanket, and it wasn't a cupcake, and the blanket was what you guys got.
Mm-hmm.
How did you do?
I got first against a bunch of Carrington girls and one Valley girl.
Okay. So you had to wrestle a Valley City girl, huh? Who was it?
It was Faith.
Oh, okay.
7th grader.
Yep. And you won now? There you go. So
But she's only been wrestling this year, so
that's okay. It's good practice. So are you gonna do anything this summer with wrestling, or you gonna take some time off? How about you?
this summer I'm going down to Iowa with one of my friends for wrestling, and me and her are going to a Jamestown camp.
Camp? Okay, because there's a lot of camps that are coming up, so you can get in there. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, ladies, thank you very much for joining us, and hope to have you on a lot more as you keep wrestling and winning some more championships. And congratulations on your state championship at Freestyle and Greco.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's Olivia and Haley Ford. Again, both were Greco-Roman and freestyle state champs last week in Jamestown. We'll be back with more Express Wrestling here as we continue Coach's Corner on the Highliner Activity Network. Back here on Coach's Corner, and we continue with our Express Wrestling segment. We've got a couple of gentlemen here that have just coming off the Greco and the Freestyle and Greco State Championships here last weekend in Jamestown. Simon Trapp and Callan Hansen. Now, you're a sixth grader. Did I ask you, are you sixth?
I'm a fifth grader.
You're a fifth grader. She got one more year of
Yep.
Express Wrestling to go. Now, Simon, I'll start with you because I didn't get a chance to talk to you after the folk style nationals that went on down in Iowa. You took 8th, All-American. How does that feel?
Awesome.
What was your experience like? Talk a little bit about your experience down there.
It was scary because it was my first year, and I got to see some friends there from the North Dakota team. And in the pool there, that was fun.
So now this is your 3rd year of Express Wrestling. So you're
Yeah.
done. Are you looking forward to the high school aspect now?
Yeah, it's going to be fun. But I got to make it to 106, so.
You got to make it to what?
106.
You got to make to 106. How much
Yeah.
you got to go?
30 pounds. Like, 25, something
25?
like
Oh,
that.
yeah. You know, eat a lot of mom's cooking. You'll be good. You'll get it there. Or just put some muscle on. Don't make it fat. You don't want to go too
I don't want
fast.
to be chubby.
Oh, that's pretty good. Now, here at the Greco, you took second in both Greco and freestyle. How was this past weekend? What was your experience like there?
I had to wrestle Brandon Height again. I've wrestled him a lot this year, and he's like really good. He's from Bismarck on the Gorilla team, and I lost to him. I got teched by him in freestyle and Greco.
Okay. So maybe so you think you'll see him again? Because what grade is he in? Is he the same as you?
Yeah.
So you'll see him probably a lot as you guys grow up. And now you got to learn how to beat him, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be one of your keys.
Yeah, he's fast, so
Okay.
yeah, I'll get him next time.
You'll get him next time. I like that. So now with Callan, with you here at the Greco, let's see. You got 4th place in the Greco and 5th in freestyle. Which one of those two do you like?
I like freestyle more, but it's more hard because there's usually more people in freestyle than Greco.
Okay.
It's more hard to get like a higher place, and yeah.
And what would you think you could have done better, maybe to do a little bit better this past weekend?
Defense from bottom
Okay.
and probably setups for leg shots
Okay.
and freestyle.
Is that something you've kind of been working on all year?
Yeah.
Because I think you mentioned last time you hear defense is something you figure you got to improve on a little bit. Okay. Now you've got another year left of Express Wrestling. What has been your favorite part of Express Wrestling here so far?
Well, practices are really fun because they kind of work us harder than they did last year and the year before, and it makes us better.
So you're looking forward to your last year next year. Looking forward to getting one more year of Express Wrestling,
Yep.
and then of course after that, then you put on that the Highlander singlet. And is that kind of your goal too? You want to do this all the way through
Yeah.
and be maybe a 4-time state champ?
I don't know.
Well, you'll
Maybe,
take
yeah.
baby steps, right? One at a time, right?
Uh-huh.
How about you? Do you have any goals that you kind of look long range? I know you're only a 6th grader, but
Yeah. I just want to get better. I don't know. Maybe get a state title.
Yeah, yeah. What's your favorite move? Do you have one?
I just like to shoot. I don't know.
You like to shoot?
Yeah, I don't really have a favorite move. I mean, there's a lot, so.
Yeah, there is. It depends on your opponent, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. What's working and
Situation.
what's not working.
Yeah.
You got to switch off. And I don't know if I've asked you that. How about you? What do you have a favorite?
Either like sweep single or armbar.
Okay, a lawnmower. What did you say?
Armbar.
Armbar. I thought you said a lawnmower. It's like I've heard of a lot of wrestling moves, but I've never heard of the lawnmower before. And I don't know, that's going to be the highlight of the show right there. I heard a lawnmower when he started armbar. How about camps? You guys got anything lined up this summer? You got one camp
Yeah,
or two?
so I have wrestling shoes by the guy I'm going to meet that's going to coach the camp, Jordan Burrows. He's what is he, like a
Olympic gold
yeah,
medalist.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll be kind of cool. Yeah. So just a couple of camps, or is that what you got?
I might go to Thorne. I don't know.
You'll wait and see, right?
Yeah, it's pretty
How about
scary.
how about you, Cal?
I'm going to one camp this year. I think it's here, Perler Camp.
Okay. Yeah. So summer, you still get the time to be a kid during the summer,
Yeah.
But you still, if you're going to get better, you go to those camps and learn from some pretty good guys, don't you?
Work hard.
Yeah.
Work hard and get better. All right. Well, guys, I appreciate you joining us. Congratulations on first your All-American status, and then
Yeah.
what you did this past weekend, Callan, you too, and congratulations on continued success. You on the high school level, and one more year, and look forward to getting you guys sitting here when you're high schoolers and
Yeah.
doing this for a few more years. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
You bet. That's Simon Trapp and Callan Hansen joining us again. 2 members of Express Wrestling. We'll step aside. We'll be back with more Coach's Corner here from the Hack on the Highlander Activity Network. Back here on Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network, and now joined by Trevor Hansen, one of the plethora of coaches for Highlander Wrestling and also for Express Wrestling. And Trevor, these two, actually all 4 of these young people that were just here, and just the experience that they've had over the last month, just with the folk style, and then last week at the freestyle and Greco.
Yeah, a very good experience for them to see the freestyle and Greco side, to get some more moves in their cabinet, we call it, and to be able to do those things, maybe transition those into folk style as well next year.
Of course, folk style, that's the high school type wrestling. What kind of describe for us, if you can, for those that don't know, the differences, like what Greco is and freestyle?
Well, freestyle and Greco are wrestled on the world level. So once you're past college, that's the only wrestling there is. There is no folk style wrestling for anybody above college level. Freestyle and Greco have been around for hundreds of years, and folk style was adapted after them. Freestyle, you have a little bit different scoring. If you take somebody from their feet to their back, it's 4 points, and then escapes aren't worth anything. So they usually lay down on the ground and try to not get turned, because every time you're turned past a 90-degree angle, you give up 2 more points.
Okay.
So there's no back points really, but there's called exposure points. And then usually they get a couple attempts to try to turn you, and then if they don't turn you, then they stand right back up. So there's no real escapes. There is reversals, but it doesn't usually happen much, but those are only worth 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
And then a normal takedown in freestyle, like in folk style, like if you just take somebody down in a double leg or single leg, it's 2 points. And then Tech Falls and freestyle are 10-0. And then Greco's a little bit different than freestyle. Greco is you cannot touch the legs, you can't touch below the waist. You can't take them down in a double leg or single leg or anything. It's all throws, it's all headlocks and lat drops and go behinds and stuff like that. And it's scored exactly the same as freestyle, except for you can't touch the legs. So feet to back is 4. Take somebody down, it's 2. Any exposures are 2. Tech Fall and Greco is 8 points. 8 points. So they're quick matches sometimes.
And that's Greco's. They'll see that in Olympic wrestling. And do they have freestyle in Olympics as well? Or I just know of Greco, but they have them both.
Yep. They have freestyle and Greco. Yep. The women's division only has freestyle.
Okay.
No Greco in women's. I mean, they did wrestle Greco in North Dakota, but not at the world level.
And Haley mentioned headlock is her favorite move, so she could be a Greco wrestler. She likes doing those headlocks.
Yep. Headlocks are huge in women's wrestling, even in Olympic women's wrestling. You'll see a lot of headlocks because it's a devastating move. You know, it can get 4 points, and then a lot of times there's a pin.
You've had a chance to see these 4 and some of these express wrestlers, and just the experience they have, and how good and how comfortable the Highlander wrestling is for the future, because you've got a lot of kids in that wrestling room. You have to be pleased with the direction things are going.
Yeah, we're going to be a little lean here coming up after this year. You know, we had 6 seniors graduate, and we still have Colton and a few juniors, or a few juniors that will be seniors. Colton will be a junior. But we'll be a little lean for a few years here. We have a good group of 6th graders that are going to be 7th graders, and we have a pretty decent group of 7th graders that are going to be 8th graders, and 8th graders are going to be 9th graders, but we're going to be really young. We were young this year, other than our 6 seniors, but we're still going to be young, and we're going to be a little lean for a couple years, and then hopefully these kids that are in Express continue on, and we can rebuild the program, because you know, we didn't make state duels this year, and you know, I don't want to say our year was down. I mean, we had 3 state champs and a runner-up, so
Yeah.
that's pretty sweet. You know, you're not probably ever going to see 3 state champs in a season ever again. I mean, unless some of these little guys decide to make wrestling their deal and really work hard, then we can get there. But yeah, it's going to be a tough couple of years. Obviously, we're going to have some good individuals, but I think with what we've built down in the Express program, those kids can fill in nicely in the next, 4 to 5 years. When my son's a little bit older, and then Simon and all the other 6th graders. And going back to freestyle and Greco, we had a lot of kids in practice. Normally, we get a handful. We'll get 5, 6, 7, 8, somewhere in there. And you'll kind of scrape together a few kids to try to get somebody to wrestle. Callan always likes to wrestle freestyle and Greco. He asks to wrestle it. I always ask at the end of folk style season, do you want to wrestle? And he says yes. So we always do it. We don't go to any tournaments except for state, just practice. And this year we had at least 12 kids at every practice, and I think we had somewhere around 15 or so participate in the state Greco and freestyle tournament, and it was a lot more kids than we, it's double probably the kids than we normally have, and that was good. It was good to see, and they work pretty hard. When I get in the room, we don't fart around with a lot of games.
Yeah.
Even though we probably should play a little more games just to make it a little bit more fun, because honestly, the things we say in the varsity room are, wrestling really isn't fun. If you think about it, you're going out there to beat somebody and to do the best you can, but it's really not that fun. You gotta love what you do, and you gotta love the fight, and be excited for that process. And to me, it's more about the process.
Yeah.
It's more about the season-long process rather than that one tournament. Now, we always like to do good at state and accomplish our goals and that stuff, but it's about the process. If you can make it through a high school wrestling season in our room, you can do a lot of things, because it's not easy. And those guys over there that were just on, Callan and Simon, wrestled in our wrestling room, varsity wrestling room, starting in November. So they have wrestled for 6 months. They've wrestled November, December, January, February, March, and April. They wrestled for 6 months, so that's a half a year. So, they did it. So that's just an accomplishment in itself.
That's a commitment, and that and like Simon said, just work to get better. That's always the goal. You just want to be better, and working hard does it. And it seems like you've got the work ethic is there.
Yes. Yep. And we've had that for quite a few years. And we go pretty hard in practice. You know, we don't lay off too much, just because we know that if we do, we're not going to achieve the goals that we want.
Yeah. Well, the season is over except for camps. So now it's just get through a couple of camps and then look forward to next year. But it looks like Express Wrestling the train's moving. It's heading in the right direction, and as it has for many, many years. And it doesn't look like it's dying down because kids get excited. I mean, they see what happens at the high school level, don't they? And then they want to be a part of that.
Yeah, and I'd like kids to realize what our high school has done for the last 10, 12, 14 years. We've done a lot. You know, we have a lot of state placers on that board in there that have just come in the last 15 years. So they have to realize that when they step into that room the next, in their 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade year, that it's real deal. It's going to be what we expect out of them is nothing short of what we have done and what we will want to do in the future.
Well, Trevor, I appreciate you coming in, chatting with us, and I know golf is off and running now. You've gotten 3 meets under your belt, and Andrew Tangen has really been hitting the ball well. 83s his last couple of times out, but is it good now? Finally, the guys are getting out on the golf course, and the weather's been perfect for it.
Yeah, yesterday was a little windy, and in South Dakota it was a little cold, but it honestly wasn't windy, and it was okay. We went all the way to Sioux Falls to play on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then we played yesterday, at Detroit Lakes Country Club, and it was a little windy. The course was tough. It was playing hard. It was only par 70. Andrew shot 83. He had just a couple bad shots, and other than that, I watched him play considerable amount of holes, and he's playing really well. He's confident. He's not rattled. He's never played varsity golf before. So to come out there, tournament 3 of the year, and do what he's done is pretty good. I think our goal is to get him qualified for the state tournament. We've got a couple qualifying tournaments coming up next week and then a couple weeks after. And he's going to have to shoot in the 70s, so he's going to have to get a couple strokes off. We're going to have to figure out how to get a little bit, just fine-tune a couple places to get him down to 79, and hopefully he can qualify for state. We'll have 2 opportunities and EDC. So, he's playing well. Another guy that's playing well is Alex Rogelstedt. He shot a 95 and a 94 in the last 2 tournaments, and, that score is not phenomenal, but for him, that's great. I mean, those are his best scores he's ever shot, and he's a senior, and it's time for him to step up and play a little bit better and do those things. So I really think that that he's played well. And Espen Kunze's done well as well. And again, his scores aren't phenomenal, but I know that his improvement from what he was and what he has been, and he just started golfing a year or 2 ago, so he's improved a lot too. Yeah, and Ethan Bear, another senior leader, he's struggling a little bit, so we got to get him back on the right path and get him going, because I know he's a way better player than he is playing. And if we can get Andrew in the 80s or the 70s and Ethan down into the mid 90s or high 80s or even mid 80s, I know he can shoot it. Our team scores will come way down, and we'll play better. So
Looking for a 360. Is that always the goal for you guys?
yeah, I'd like 490s. 4 times 90 is 360, so that's my goal, or that's our goal. And if Tanging shooting 80 and someone shoots a 100, then okay, now we need 2 more 90s. Or someone shoots a 95, well, now we need we can shoot another 95 and that type of stuff. So yeah, 360 is usually our goal. Anything below that would be awesome.
Forest Hills on Friday
And Saturday.
So a 2-day are coming up this week at Forest Hills.
These are not EDC meets. This is just a Fargo North Invitational. So the first 3 tournaments we played were actually counted as EDC meets. So they're on the EDC website. That'll count towards their average. And they can qualify for state another way if they are in the top 10 in scoring average. But I think Andrew will be out. But they do throw out your 2 worst scores.
Right,
But
yeah.
I think Andrew will probably be just outside of that unless he starts turning it on, which he can.
Yeah.
He can. He's a very good player.
Yeah, if you're in all 9, you get to throw out your 2 worst scores to qualify for that. So, is it the Forest Hills outside of Detroit Lakes, right there on Highway 10?
Yeah, right off the highway there, right before Detroit Lakes.
All right. Well, Coach, I appreciate you stopping in and chatting with us and talking wrestling and golf. I know trap is in full swing, and it's you have nothing going on, so you have a little free time. So
Yeah, Callan's playing baseball now too, and I decided I'd help a little bit with that too. So why not, right?
yeah, nothing else. So
Right.
well, Coach, I appreciate you coming in, and good luck to you during the rest of the golf and trap season.
Yes, thank you very much, Paul.
You bet. Coach Trevor Hansen joining us. We'll be back with more of our Coach's Corner here from the Hack on the Highlander Activity Network. Back here at Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network on this Wednesday evening, and now we're going to switch to baseball. And Coach Seth Soderholm joining us from the Highlanders. How you doing, Coach?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. A beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. I don't know how many more beautifuls I could throw in there. But you guys had a chance. Had a doubleheader yesterday against Fargo North, splitting that doubleheader. Yes, the one game didn't count in the EDC standings, but you got a W, got a win. First game, that Kalbrenner was really throwing pretty well yesterday for Fargo North.
Yeah, he threw well. He threw hard. Threw his slider really off his fastball. Set himself up well. Got ahead of guys in pretty much every count and was in the driver's seat all game for the most part.
And, you know, you look at our pitchers, Bryson Heck and Robert Fisher. Bryson didn't allow a hit in his 2 innings, but didn't find the strike zone. That seems to be the issue right now.
Yeah, too many walks, getting behind batters, walking guys later in the order, 8, 9 hitters, which kind of sets it up for the top of the order, and that's where they did their damage.
And if you have pitchers that are not finding the strike zone, that kind of puts your defense on their heels, doesn't it?
Yeah, they're kind of sitting around waiting. We like to keep them involved. We'll obviously take strikeouts whenever we can get them, but we need to live in the zone, set ourselves up, and then get whiffs with 2 strikes.
So 4-0 was the final in that first game. Second game, the 8-3 game, got 5 runs in the top of the 5th inning to win that one. Probably far and away your best offensive game of the year.
Yeah, they hit well. 1 through 9, we had a lot of guys with multiple hits, a lot of clutch hits too there in the last few innings. We did a good job. I think it was 1-1. We got ahead 3-1. Couple nice hits and walks, and then obviously in the last inning it was really nice to see.
I know Corbin Powell, one of the young kids, gets his first varsity hit and a couple of RBIs. How about those younger guys and the contributions that they're going to have to really give to you?
Yeah, it was huge. Corbin got a nice hit there going the other way in that second game, driving a couple guys in. Jack Samuelson hit a big double in the first game. It was his first hit too. So those are good things to see out of freshmen, younger guys who are going to be playing here for a while.
Are you seeing improvement, Coach, here in these first 4 games?
Yeah, in certain aspects of the game. Obviously, we haven't put a full game together, offense, defense, pitching, but we're getting there. We're improving on certain things every game. That's what matters. Obviously, we'd like to start taking some of these counters, but we're trending in the right direction. We're getting there.
Shanley here on Friday night. Is this a 2 doubleheader as well?
That's just a varsity and JV.
Just varsity
doubleheader.
JV.
Yep.
5 o'clock for the varsity game. Yep. And Shanley's a team that kept you out of the state tournament last year. What do you expect out of the Deacons?
Good team. I think they're picked first in the state preseason. A lot of good players, a lot of juniors, junior-led team, senior-led team. Got guys that can throw it, and they got guys that can hit it. So yeah.
What is going to be what biggest thing, Seth, as you look through the month of May and getting postseason as you go from game to game that this team really needs to improve on?
I'd say the way we can get ahead with our pitchers, allowing our pitchers to set the tone early in the game. You know, it gets our offense in a spot when they don't start early and our pitchers don't start early, and then all of a sudden we're down 2-0, 3-0 early, and then we can't do the things we want to do on offense. We can't fake bunt, steal, bunt, whatever it is. It kind of puts us in a spot where we're playing from behind, and we need to be a little bit more conservative.
Players still in the right mindset, though?
Yeah. It seemed last night helped a lot, winning that second one, getting back in the winning ways. It's been a while, so that one felt good. It felt like we were putting a foot forward.
Well, now let's get the counter here on Friday night with Fargo Shanley. 5 o'clock again. First pitch for the game on Friday night. And yes, it's on the Highlander TV network, but come on out.
Yeah.
Come on out.
Yeah, it should be nice. It might not be as nice as today, but it'll be nice.
Hey, if the sun's out, I don't care. As you know, sun's out, 55 degrees, I'll take that.
Yep.
That after what we've gone through.
Agreed.
That's like being in the Bahamas
Yes.
right
it was
about
hot.
now.
Everyone was complaining today at practice how hot it was.
Oh, good gravy.
Yeah, I wasn't, but they were.
They were, yeah,
Yes.
not you. Oh, man. Well, Seth, again, appreciate it. We'll look forward to Friday night, and again, 5 o'clock at Charlie Brown Field. And when you're out there, take a peek at that new clubhouse. The lockers have been delivered, and it's coming along.
Yeah. It's really nice. It's going to be nice addition to the field. We're ready to use it.
All right, Coach, thanks again.
Thank you.
You bet. Coach Seth Soderholm joining us from the Highlander Baseball. We'll be back here and more of our Coach's Corner here from the Hack on the Highlander Activity Network. Back here at Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network as we wrap up tonight's show. Just 5 more shows as the school year, of course, is getting down there. We'll have our shows in the month of May. We'll have one that first Wednesday in June, as that's we'll be recapping the state tennis and hopefully have a handful of tennis players are going to be at the state tennis tournament. Well, state track, that'll be we'll be talking about that as well. Speaking of track, one more state qualifier for Valley City Track yesterday as Reagan Berg qualified for her 3rd event now. As yesterday, they were in Kindred for the Joan Holland Classic, and she qualified in the 3,200 as she took first place with a time of 11:57.16. So she is now qualified in the 800, the 1,600, and the 3,200. Her and Greta Govan is also in state in the 800 and 1,600. Bryn Leak is qualified in the 800. Aiden Jacobson has qualified in the high jump. Karina Olson has qualified in the 100 meters. So they already got quite a few athletes that have qualified for the state tournament, and they will be they'll be competing again this weekend. And they had again. This was last night. They were over in Kindred for that state meet. A few more personal bests finished. The girls actually took 2nd with 89 points behind Central Cass, and the boys finished 9th in that meet here in Kindred. So Valley City Track is having a good spring, and again they will be in action here on Friday, and then just a handful of meets left for them as well. One more too. Of course, they'll be here in Valley City. They will have their last chance meet in the middle of May. Well, that's going to wrap things up. I know coming up here on Monday, we've got the jazz concert coming up here on Monday that you'll be able to see here on the Highlander Activity Network. Baseball Friday night, 5 o'clock first pitch from Charlie Brown Field. So you can join us here on the Highlander Activity Network for baseball on Friday night. And then again next Monday for the jazz concert. And next Wednesday, back here at 6 o'clock for another edition of Coach's Corner. Of course, I want to thank all our guests here this evening. Matt Nielsen joining us from Highlander Tennis, and from Express Wrestling, Coach Trevor Hansen, Callan Hansen, Simon Trapp, and Haley and Olivia Ford. And, of course, just had Coach Seth Soderholm from the Highlander baseball team joining us as well. I always want to thank our sponsors, Sentia Health, and also the Valley City Booster Club, and their support of the Highlander Activity Network. And those of you that watch us each and every week, whether you watch us live from 6 o'clock until 7, or if you archive and watch it later on, whenever, we do appreciate you joining us here in the Highlander Activity Network. My thanks tonight, Tegan Zahn, our cameraman and technical director here this evening. I think that's his first one this year, first Coach's Corner. So now he's broken in, so now he's going to be a veteran. He'll have to do all the rest from the rest of the year. That's my motto. But again, thanks to Tegan and Derek Bear, also our technical director and executive producer, joining us here this evening. Next week, 6 o'clock, we'll have another edition of Coach's Corner here from the Hack right here on the Highlander Activity Network.